Tooth Fairy.
Now your question. Fantasy and magic has always played a big pivotal role in my life. When I was younger, I struggled a lot to stay on the right path. I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. I got into a lot of trouble when I was a kid. I was lucky that I had great parents and a couple of people in my life who saw my potential, even when I didn't see my own potential, and who encouraged me to dream, and not only dream, but they really encouraged me to dream big. And once I got older, and I became a proud daddy of my little girl, I can understand the power of and the importance of dreams, especially for children. And that played a big role in my own development. And coming from where I've come from in the past to where I am now, here in Mexico, talking about a big, fun movie, again, it's a constant reminder for me just how important not only dreams are, but how important understanding my own potential is. And I think that's really important when it comes to children. Actually, it's really important when it comes to everybody, for individuals to understand the power of their own potential. And I think once you realize that, you can really make big things happen. For me, the best thing that I was able to take from the movie, first of all, I recognize just really how cool my job is. I get the opportunity to make some really cool movies, get the opportunity to entertain people on a worldwide level. But a movie like The Tooth Fairy was pretty special to me, and I'll tell you why. Not only did we have the chance to make a funny comedy, and I love making comedies, not only did we have a chance to tell a good story and a good message in the importance of believing in dreams, but on top of that, we could take an iconic character like the Tooth Fairy and present it to the world for the very first time, which for me, that was really, really special, and that was very unique. Because regardless of our culture, whether it's American culture, Mexican culture, Asian culture, everyone has their own version of the Tooth Fairy. Here it's El Raton, I think. So there's a version of the Tooth Fairy, and for me that was pretty cool and special to be able to take away from that. That's a great question. The film for me, once I was done filming it and I watched it back, and so a combination of things. You're done filming it, you hope to make a good movie, you watch it back. I watched it a couple of months ago, and then you just start delivering it to the people and to the audiences, and then I sit down with members of the press and members of the audience, and I'm reminded just how important having a strong message is when you make a good family comedy or when you make a movie in the family genre. And generally all movies, whether they're action movies, dramas, comedies, family movies, they generally have a theme or a message to follow. The one thing that I was able to take away from The Tooth Fairy was that the message was really strong. Right from the beginning, we make it very clear. Here's our story, here's our message. That message is, no dreams are too big, and you have to believe that the impossible is possible. And I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Well, working with child actors, I've made 3 family movies now. The Game Plan, Race to Witch Mountain, and The Tooth Fairy. And there have been children and teenagers in them. And child actors, teenage actors, kid actors, they always impress me because there's so much on their plate. Not only do they have to be a child and be a kid and have that type of life, which is vital, but then they have to come to work on a set, know their character, know the nuances of their character, know how the story evolves, and there's a lot. So I always give child actors a lot of credit, and I'm always impressed with what they're able to do in terms of performance and just in terms of their own capacity. So that's generally pretty impressive to me. As far as for sports for me, and I played football for 10 years, I wrestled for an additional 7 years. Sports for me it enabled me to understand the value and the importance of hard work and sacrifice and setting a goal and oftentimes achieving it and oftentimes not achieving it, failing or losing a game or failing at something. But for me, I learned a lot more in the failures and in the challenges than I did in the successes and winning big games or things like that. So sports played a vital, pivotal role in my life. And frankly, it got me off the streets. It got me, I had been arrested quite a few times before I was 16. So I was fortunate that I had some good coaches in my life to pull me up and kind of be my guardian. So, I always credit a lot to sports, which is why I'm such a big proponent of sports and athletics, or it's just certainly physical activity for children all around the world. Whether it's soccer, whether it's football, whether it's volleyball, track, whatever it is, or any type of activity, I'm a big proponent of that, because I believe it teaches a lot. Family is important to me. I know the value of a strong family, especially at times when you don't have much. It's oftentimes when you don't have much and you struggle, whether it's struggle to put food on the table or struggle to make ends meet. Those are the times that, for me and my family, we really bonded and became solid. And so when I have the opportunity to make a family movie, that's special to me, and especially if we can tell a good story, make people laugh, make people feel good, and entertain them. Not only is it special to me, but that's why it resonates with me. So whenever I get the opportunity to come back to the family genre and make a family movie, I always want to make a good one. Because often too, when you make a good family movie, generally every member of the family, whether they're the grandparents or the kids, or everybody in between, if you make a good family movie, generally you can relate to a... Okay. Hey, good to meet you. What's the wings? Okay, so the funniest experience for me in shooting the movie was wearing a costume like this, which I had, of course, which you see in the movie, but the very first time I meet Billy Crystal for the first time, I'm in this. And when he sees me, Billy Crystal, of course, I've admired and I've loved for so many years. He's been one of my comedic heroes. The first time he sees me, I introduce myself. Hello, Billy. How you doing? He goes, hey, how you doing? He looks me up and down like this, and he goes, you got balls. Excuse my language for the ladies. I said, yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. So then, another funny moment was, I wear, and for those of you who've seen the movie, I wear something similar to this, only less masculine, if you will. It's a pink tutu. So this outfit in pink, and the very first time I meet, of course, the iconic, flawless Julie Andrews, I'm in something like this. Of course, and anytime you want to meet Julie Andrews or an iconic figure in Hollywood, you'd want to wear a suit or dress up or look a little bit classy, so I'm in something like this. So that was a funny moment where she just looked me up and down, and she's like, hello, love. So those were funny moments. Thank you, Fairy. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Don't fall. Sure, the challenge of the character for me was to really embody this man in the beginning of the movie. And in the beginning of the movie, this man has a very skewed perspective on things. And in terms of telling children, what you should do is lower your expectations of yourself. That way you'll never be disappointed. But saying it in a way where I honestly believe that was a bit of a challenge, because I never ever say that to a child. We had great writers, and everyone who I was working with was always fantastic, and who helped all of us, by the way, really embody the character. So that was a bit of a challenge at first, because my initial go-to in delivering lines like that, I'd often want to try and deliver it with a bit of a comedic twist to it, with slightly bent towards humor, but trying to deliver that straight to a child. And some of the children I was working with, telling children something like that, they get lost in the scene too, and they're really listening to you, and you can see that their little hearts are breaking. And when I was done, I was like, I'm only kidding. This is acting. You could do anything. So I would say that.